Hi everyone, Drothany Matano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time to talk about this hot mess of a frickin' situation on Twitter right now between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Now, if you know anything about rap dynamics in 2025, especially when it comes to, the side of the fence that features all of the ladies of the rap world, you know that when it comes to this new generation of women rappers, many of them are either not very well liked or are just on thin ice with the one, the only, the legend herself, Nicki Minaj. And there's no relationship in those two worlds that is more heated and more tense than that of Cardi B and Nicki because, very famously, they do not get along very well. And while sure, I don't think Cardi B has done a lot on her part to sort of lower the heat down, it is pretty clear, at least from my own personal perspective, the root of their rivalry for the most part does seem to stem from Nicki Minaj not really liking that Cardi B represents this new generation, this new sound, this new era of rappers who are essentially replacing her, or at least on some level that must be the fear or the concern. Before we get deeper into this beef though, I want you guys to think about whether or not you want any beef from today's sponsor, Factor.
Think of the hours that you spend in your one wild, precious little life just making and finding food to eat meals multiple times a day. You have to brainstorm meal ideas, go to the grocery store, prepare the ingredients you got, cook them, and then cook all the dishes when you're done. I could be using that time to take flower arranging classes. Not that I would, but I could. Factor can help you get some of that time back. Don't you want to skip the grocery stores, the food prep, the cooking fatigue, the food waste, and the dishes? Well, if you do, you can instead get chef-created, dietitian-approved meals shipped right to your door with Factor. And what's crazy is that now, Factor has introduced its healthiest menu yet. There are no refined seed oils, no refined sugars, just real food from Factor. You can try meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter, and also broccolini. And with this new menu, Factor just doubled the size of their seafood and protein options. Here I've got the Caribbean spiced tofu. All I gotta do is pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and then it's ready to enjoy. Tastes even better knowing how much time I saved making it. So there you have it. Head to factor75.com or hit the link in the description. Use Fantano FB50 for 50% off of your order plus free breakfast for a year. Again, that is code Fantano FB50 for 50% off plus free breakfast for a year's time. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchases. And thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video.
Truth be told, Nicki Minaj has been one of the most famous female rappers on the scene for a long time, to the point where her popularity and appeal transcends hip-hop itself. Like, Nicki Minaj fans come from all sorts of walks of life. And she's also proven herself for years to be a talented writer and rapper. And by those metrics alone, you would think that, she wouldn't look at someone like Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B and see them as any kind of real threat or competition. Maybe instead people she could work with to help grow her brand out further. I mean, in fact, she did used to collaborate with Megan Thee Stallion before, that relationship went sour and they began beefing, which ultimately ended up blowing up in Nicki's face. But no, rather than opting for harmony when it comes to interacting with a lot of these newer faces and names that are coming up underneath her, Nicki Minaj routinely chooses violence. And she has chosen to do so yet again in the wake of Cardi B's new album release, Am I the Drama? And honestly, I'm kind of surprised it's taken this long for Nicki Minaj to put some kind of shot out there toward Cardi. But here it is, just a few days ago on Twitter, Nicki Minaj making fun of the very bad, I even pointed it out myself in the review, ABCDEFG bar that is in the midst of the record. Unfortunately, Cardi and her writers were not really cooking on that one. And Cardi was very quick to respond with Nicki and her going back and forth with some nursery rhyme flows, being insulting, but also pretty funny, with some material here that honestly should be making it onto a track onto a song, maybe less so a tweet. And at first, these interactions to a lot of rap fans across the board, even to Nicki and Cardi's fans, were cute, were funny. It seemed like off the bat, maybe what we were about to get was things ramping up into a quality rap battle, some disses and songs and tracks flying back and forth. I mean, if Nicki performed once again in the same way that she did against Megan with her whole Bigfoot track, it wouldn't have lasted long. But still, a few musical trades between Cardi and Nicki would have been pretty cool. However, from here, the insult-packed tweets continued to roll out and increasingly got uglier, more horrific, and more personal as Nicki and Cardi didn't even stop at each other's kids. Yeah, nasty things said about each other's children going back and forth here. And rather, again, than going from here into the studio, instead suggesting that things should get physical in person and somebody's got to drop the address. Nicki Minaj also in the midst of all of this began alleging that, like, you know, Rock Nation had something to do here with Cardi B. I don't know. I really don't know. Nearly everything Nicki these days on her Twitter account, when she is, you know, complaining about something in regards to her career or the music industry, kind of ties back to Rock Nation and Jay-Z. Repeatedly, Nicki seems like pretty sure of the idea that, like, Jay-Z and Rock Nation and the major labels are kind of doing whatever they can to undermine her success, which is a pretty bold claim for the very, very, very small amount of evidence that she has shared that points in that direction. Either way, it was getting pretty heinous, and it all kind of culminated into Cardi B tweeting what reads like a very serious letter using Nicki's full name and alleging that a lot of her behavior right now comes down to mental health issues, drug use, and abusive treatment she had to deal with as a child. Which, I mean, sure, maybe there's some kind of validity to that statement and or observation, but you can't really ignore the fact that these things are being brought up by Cardi in a way that comes across as like very concern trolly and opportunistic. It's kind of like pretending to take the high road when you're actually really not, because you're still kind of shoving the other person's face in it at the end of the day. But still, with that being said, I do sympathize with the fact that Cardi didn't really start any of this. And if I think she was actually going to be smart in reacting to Nicki, kind of teasing her, trying to get a rise out of her, she really just should have come back with a song, especially as you're still in the midst of a new album cycle, a new track that would undoubtedly go viral. You could pack it into the track list of your new record. It's going to get millions of fucking streams. And given just how poorly Nicki did on Bigfoot not too long ago, chances are she's not going to come back with the most fire response. Cardi, in doing a song quickly and responding to Nicki, had everything to gain, nothing to lose, but instead what we got was just a terrible, awful, garbage tweet storm that ended in a letter that was quickly followed by a few more tweets where she called Nicki a crackhead and essentially called her kids slow once again. But yeah, this was very ugly, very unflattering, and not only just for the two figures most prominently involved here, because this Twitter beef did sort of like create a larger domino effect of other female rappers commenting or even being commented on through some leaked call audio of Cardi B absolutely flipping shit.
You don't know? I'ma show ya. I'm not Lotto. I'ma beat her the fuck up. You think I'm fucking pussy ass Lotto?
And it's just become very clear, very fast, that sadly, this new generation of women rappers, they're not really getting along. A lot of them don't really seem to like each other, which is kind of unfortunate because personally, I for a long time have thought that with a lot of newer, younger male rappers out there favoring more sort of like, you know, underground and edgy and very sort of aggressive sounds at the moment, that this would allow the girls out there to essentially take the commercial throne and really start kind of like sitting in the driver's seat of the genre. I mean, I suppose from here, there is still a chance of some music coming out of all of these different rivalries going on right now. But my faith in that happening right now is kind of low, because honestly, it kind of seems like everybody here, especially Nicki and Cardi, like just hate each other so much and so deeply that there's like not even enough respect or admiration there, or enough of a mutual understanding for either of them to see the other as being like worthy of a piece of music they'd make in the studio. Like the hate and the dislike and the disrespect just runs that deep. Plus, I mean, after how Bigfoot blew up in Nicki's face, who knows if we'll see like, you know, a repeat of that. Maybe she's afraid of like, you know, running that same play again. Or maybe, you know, given how much suing in response to a big diss track right now has obviously been a thing, maybe that's something that's potentially on everyone's minds, including the label, I guess. We'll just have to see what pans out from here. Let me know what you guys think about all of this insanity in the comments. I'm sure you will. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, forever.